Hey guys, welcome to the Liberal Hive Mind, a channel solely focused on exposing the abundant hypocrisy of the left. I don't even get this case anymore. There's so much contradiction. You know, we're meant to believe one thing one week, that this is the core of the case, the most core element, this is why Donald Trump's guilty, then we learn the next week that it's actually not even part of the indictment. Remember the transcript that was included in the indictment over the Iran document, that supposedly being the core of the case, the smoking gun, that's why Donald Trump was guilty. Well, then it turns out that actually, it's not even part of the case. Donald Trump isn't even being charged over that Iran document, not to mention all the misinformation surrounding the event itself and the actual tape itself. The DOJ then leaked that recording to the media, CNN and other news agencies running with it. Seems to me like a clear attempt of jury poisoning, not to mention it seems highly unethical if not illegal. But that was last week. This week, we have a very similar series of events. The newest smoking gun in the Trump Mar-a-Lago case, which should be dismissed in a fair world any day now, well, is yet again another frickin' dud. Let me show you guys exactly what I mean by that. We got some stuff to get into, so let's roll the tape. Alright folks, so this is from July 6th, only 3 days ago. New video, photo evidence from Trump raid revealed in Mar-a-Lago search warrant. Explosive new video and photo evidence from the raid on former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate was revealed after the judge unsealed the search warrant. Additional portions of the affidavit that the FBI used to obtain a warrant to search for sensitive documents at Mar-a-Lago, former President Donald Trump's private club, and residence in Florida, were unsealed by a federal magistrate judge on Wednesday, providing some new information about the extraordinary process that had taken place. The newly unredacted sections of the affidavit suggested that prosecutors had based their search in part on surveillance footage from cameras near a storage room in the basement of Mar-a-Lago showing Walt Nauta, a personal aide to Mr. Trump, moving dozens of boxes in and out of the room days before federal prosecutors arrived to collect any sensitive records in Mr. Trump's possession. So apparently a key component of the case is a video recording or video evidence showing a Trump aide moving a series of boxes from one room to another. Then these photos are attached, giant piles of boxes. Leftoids are promoting this stuff as if it's proof that Donald Trump was not cooperating, and he had his aides handling the classified documents and moving them about in their attempt to conceal the documents and tamper with evidence during the investigation or in their dealings negotiations with NARA. And immediately I'm confused. That's it? That's the smoking gun? Big boxes of documents being moved from one area to another by Trump's aide Walt Nauta? Yeah, that seems like a whole load of you-know-what to me. First of all, the supposed top-secret documents that Donald Trump was in possession of, well, in total, wouldn't even fill a single box, so I'm not exactly sure why people are linking these photos of all these documents, suggesting it's proof of some sort of crime, that he was trying to hide evidence, or how this could possibly be the core evidence behind this indictment or behind the case in their attempts to charge him with espionage. But based on the FBI's own reporting, we already know this to be the case. Paul Sperry, a very reputable source, writes, breaking, newly unsealed court documents reveal that despite DOJ photobombs, stacks of Mar-a-Lago boxes were not packed with state secrets. FBI agent who signed the warrant stated that the boxes also contained challenge coins, garment bags, memorabilia, photograph frames, and other decor. Paul Sperry also writes, redacted from the Mar-a-Lago search warrant affidavit, Attorney General Merrick Garland agreed to publicly release what was the fact that a U.S. Secret Service officer escorted Trump's lawyers into the storage room during the search for classified documents to comply with grand jury subpoena in June of 2022, which adds even more confusion. You know, the core of every single accusation simply doesn't make any sense. Donald Trump's being charged with espionage, with illegal handling of classified national security documents, supposedly reckless handling of these documents, putting this information into the hands of our adversaries. Clearly none of that ever happened. And the second element is that Donald Trump was supposedly trying to destroy evidence, hide evidence, he was moving boxes, and refusing to comply, but it seems as though his lawyer totally complied with the subpoena. It seems as if, based on what we understand, they never tried to hide any documents, destroy any documents, but rather were in ongoing negotiations with NARA, where Donald Trump and his legal representation were making the argument that they were his documents and he didn't have to give them up. NARA had another view, and so it seems like the only rational path that you could take from there as a totally nonpartisan federal government entity or department is to apply for a search warrant, raid Donald Trump's home, take all of the documents by force as well as all the other documents, and then charge him with espionage for doing doing what? For handling the documents with care, with 24/7 Secret Service protection, for being open about having the documents, not hiding them like Joe Biden and all of these other clowns. None of it seems to make very much sense to me. It all seems utterly partisan and downright corrupt. I simply don't get the accusations. If you're gonna charge the former president of the United States with freaking espionage, this can't be it. It can't just be, we saw on video that one of Trump's aides moved boxes, and actually those boxes we know didn't hold any actual state secrets. But he could have been trying to destroy evidence and destroy classified information, even though we have no evidence that he did that, and they cooperated with us absolutely the entire way, and all the documents that were in his possession, we were aware of those documents already and already in negotiations as to how we're going to deal with them. But then we decided to raid his home right before the 2022 midterm elections, while at the same time knowing that Joe Biden was in possession of classified documents illegally, but we didn't pursue that or make that public before the elections like we did with this Donald Trump raid. You're starting to, see the whole picture here, the clear double standard, this two-tiered justice system. Politico just reported this. Trump's special prosecutor probe has already spent over $9 million investigating Donald Trump. The conservative brief writes, DOJ has spent millions more investigating Trump over classified documents than Biden. The amount spent by the DOJ and Smith dwarfs the amount reportedly spent by special counsel Robert Hur and the DOJ agencies on investigating President Joe Biden's alleged mishandling of classified documents, a number that is closer to 1.2 million. So nothing to see here. They're just spending what seems to be maybe 7.5 times the amount of money investigating Trump on all of this nonsense. But the investigation into Joe Biden's mishandling of documents, and especially with the extra added context of the Bidens being involved in these pay-for-play schemes involving foreign nationals, making millions of dollars off of those connections, big deal. It's all so unbelievable. And I don't get how anybody can sit idly by and just accept this as the new standard, the new normal. It's a very dangerous precedent that's being set. And what's even worse is that some Republicans, quote-unquote Republicans like Chris Christie, for instance, seem to be more outraged over the idea that Donald Trump called special counsel Jack Smith a crackhead, more so than, the political weaponization of the DOJ and federal agencies currently working overtime and spending a whole lot of millions of taxpayer dollars to essentially stop Donald Trump from being able to run for president again.
Look, this is just what makes Donald Trump an unacceptable nominee for our party, because he says things like this without any regard for truth or falsity, without any regard for the propriety of it. But even worse yet, what does that do to help anyone other than him? My argument all along has been this race in 2024 for Donald Trump is all about Donald Trump. It's not about the American people. He doesn't give a damn about the American people.
Crazy world that we live in. I don't know, maybe it's my bias speaking, but it seems like a partisan witch hunt to me. Not to mention, again, the last piece of reporting that we'll cover in this video, once again from Paul Sperry. In another sign that the Mar-a-Lago raid was political, the DOJ prosecutor who authorized it is a DNC donor and Russiagate alumni, Jay Bratt. Jay Bratt, who blacked out every reference to Trump cooperating with subpoenas from the publicly released search warrant affidavit, new court documents reveal. So in their release of the initial indictment, every instance of Trump actually cooperating was redacted. It must have been redacted to protect the anonymity of those working at the FBI or protect national security or, something like that. And definitely not because it basically puts a wrench in their entire case. Give me a break. This whole thing is a farce. I just hope it goes up in flames like every other witch hunt that's preceded it. That's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to leave a like and possibly subscribe to the channel. You know that we'd love to have you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.